Thank you for joining us for our little Christmas special here at HorseWorld. My name's Meg, I'm part of the team. This is my lovely colleague Amy. We are joining you live-ish from the yard. There is stuff going on around us. You'll hear the birds tweeting, you may hear ponies coming in and out of fields, you might hear one of our discovery courses going on in the background. Anything could happen, not gonna lie, so brace yourself because who knows what's in store. We are here to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate HorseWorld and to give you a little insight into what's been going on over the last few months.
So we've not been able to welcome you in this year. Normally we'd open the doors 3 or 4 times a year for our open days. We'd welcome you in with open arms to come and meet the horses, some of which you can probably hear us shuffling around in the barn next to me there. Obviously, because of the circumstances this year, you've not been able to come in. So we thought we'd bring the horses to you from the comfort of your own living room.
You're going to hear lots of exciting things, as well as shuffling ponies in the background. We're going to give you some updates on some recent rescues. We're going to introduce you to some of our adoptable animals. Adoption is a great last-minute Christmas present. You didn't think you were going to get Christmas shopping as part of this, did you? But if you are watching this before the 11th of December, there's still enough time to purchase a HorseWorld adoption. It's a wonderful gift. You get to help HorseWorld as well. Go to the website for more information. If you're watching after 11th of December, sorry, you're a bit late. But still order it. You'll get the package after New Year, but it just means that Christmas lasts longer. You're also going to have a little Christmas treat, seeing some of our discovery ponies dressed up in their Christmas finest. It really is going to be a jam-packed little show we've got for you.
So we're also going to tell you a little bit about our current appeal, our Safe Spaces appeal. Now normally our events where we open it for our open days, they're our biggest fundraising events. They bring in a lot of money for our appeals, whichever that may be at the time. We've not been able to take any of that in this year. So we're running an appeal and we're asking for your help with it. You'll hear a little bit more about our Safe Spaces appeal in this short film. Hi, I'm Amy. I'm the fundraising officer here at HorseWorld. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with our work as a rescue charity, and you'll be used to us showing you individual horses that need our help. We've shown you some heartbreaking cases, horses that have been too weak to stand on arrival, horses with painfully overgrown hooves, and horses who are terrified of humans because of the way they've been treated. The list of reasons they end up in a rescue centre is endless. The support you've shown towards individual horses like this is mind-blowing, and we can't thank you enough. We can't always show you every horse that comes in now. Many are part of ongoing rescue cases, meaning that we can't feature them in any publicity until the court case is over. These horses are impossible to fundraise for. Something else that's very difficult to fundraise for is the replacement of the vital facilities we need to be able to nurse these horses back to health. For instance, this rubber matting was laid over 20 years ago. It's seen thousands of horses come and go on their rescue journey, through rehabilitation to whichever path lies ahead of them. The nature of our work means that newly rescued or poorly horses need a nice deep bed like this on top of the rubber matting, so they can't scrape through to the cold hard concrete underneath. So horses that are very weak might not be able to get up, they might scrape through. Horses that are lame or unable to stand very well could fall, and we really don't want concrete underneath because they could hurt themselves. So at any one time we've got around 100 horses on site. This rubber matting was the best we could afford at the time, but it's completely worn out now. It's become pitted, so it now absorbs the urine, and it's become misshapen, so we've got these big gaps and all the waste is now seeping underneath and collecting underneath, which is unhygienic. So the grooms are having to lift all this heavy matting out and disinfect all the floor underneath to keep it safe for the horses. It's a really laborious and time-consuming task that's taking time away from caring for the horses. So the problem with this matting is, as well, the more worn it gets, the bigger these gaps are getting, and it's lifting. It's going to become a trip hazard for horses and humans. So eventually it'll have to be taken out completely. So what's the plan? We want to fundraise enough to replace all of the rubber matting throughout the stables with new sealed rubber floor that will be safe and comfortable for the horses. So you won't get these gaps anymore. It'll be sealed right round the edges and at the door. We've trialled this in our vet box and it's worked really well. Now, earlier this year we launched an appeal to raise the funds to do this in our isolation hospital facilities, and you guys responded, and we now are able to start that project. So we can't thank you enough for all your help with that. That's been absolutely great. The isolation unit was our number one priority because that's where horses come when they first arrive. But once they've completed their initial stage of recovery, they will then move to this part of the yard, and these stables are absolutely vital to their rehabilitation. So what we need to do is to be able to gradually, we'll raise enough money to start on one part of the yard and work our way round, and that's what we're aiming to do. And when we can do that, this will last for many, many years. It will go on to help hundreds, even thousands of horses for many, many years to come. So it's a big project, but once it's done, the benefits of it are immeasurable. So if you are able to help with this at all, if you'd like to be part of a horse's journey for many years to come, go to our website, which is www.horseworld.org.uk/safe, and that will take you to the Safe Spaces appeal. And that's the appeal to raise the money to replace all this rubber matting with sealed rubber flooring. So if you want to know a little bit more about it, go to that page, it'll tell you a bit more about it. And obviously we're happy to answer any questions that you've got to ask about it as well. So thanks ever so much for listening. Please take a look and please share it with your friends. Thanks.
So that was a little film all about our Safe Spaces appeal. We really need your help to help us make these spaces for our rescued and rehabilitating horses to recover in. And little Charlie here, who has been very patient up until this point, little Charlie, when he came to us, was not this perky little pony that you see here today in his Christmas glory. He's here with his favourite human, Lauren, part of our welfare team. Tell us a little bit about Charlie's state when he came to us.
So when he came, he had really severe laminitis, which is like an inflammation in their hoofs. And due to that, his hooves were really overgrown, and they hadn't been seen by a farrier for quite a long time. So they were almost curling up, a bit like elf shoes. When he came, he was really almost depressed and down, and obviously really in pain with his feet. So over time, we've managed to cut his hooves down by the farrier gradually, with on box rest as well, so he has rest. Now he's just being allowed to go back out into the field, so he's allowed a little bit of grass about half a day now. We have to introduce it gradually so his laminitis doesn't come back. And he's a lot happier and not in pain.
and bribed by pony nuts, as you can see. So as you say, when he came, it wasn't just his physical recovery that had to happen, it was his emotional recovery as well.
And because he hadn't been seen by the farrier for a long time as well, we had to get him used to that. And obviously they were quite painful for him, so we had to do it in a really gradual process.
Yeah, I mean, seeing him today, it really is hard to imagine the state that he was in when he arrived. If you just received our recent newsletter, you will have read about Charlie, and you'll have seen photographs of just the awful state that his feet were in. And seeing him walk, you could just see how much pain he must have been in, wasn't he? But thanks to people like you, we have been able to help Charlie become this amazing little pony that you see before us. So what's next, Charlie, apart from being our Christmas mascot, obviously?
So next for Charlie is we're going to start gradually letting him long rein in the school, and then hopefully we'll be able to get him to Discovery so he can help children, and I think he'll be amazing.
I mean, how can this little guy not be amazing at anything that helps children and young people? I mean, he's just a star. As I say, please, if you can, support our Safe Spaces appeal. Don't forget you can donate by text. All the information should be on screen for you to do that now. If you've donated, there are other ways you can support HorseWorld this Christmas. One of those ways is to buy one of our adoptions. You can't adopt Charlie, but there are plenty of other HorseWorld horses who would love to have you as their new best friend. It's a great Christmas gift, and you can support all of the horses here at HorseWorld. Here's a little video where you can meet some of our adoptable stars coming up now.
This little chap is called Burdock. Burdock is a discovery pony. He's not ridden. He was rescued 17 and a half years ago. He was 6 months old when he was rescued, and he was brought in by an RSPCA inspector in the back of their van. He's called Burdock because he was absolutely covered from head to toe in sticky burrs. Is very cheeky, as you can see. He's got a very big opinion for such a small person, but he's very sweet. He's very kind, he's very patient, and he loves being a discovery pony, and he works with all our smaller children. And he does all the things we do, like obstacles and long reining and grooming. And he's really, really sweet. When he's working, he's in work mode. He's got a really good work ethic, but he's also got a very strong playing ethic, which is great because it brings out his character. They like his naughty but nice personality. There's no malice in him. He's definitely a big horse in a little horse's body, which brings out his character and fun, and that's why the children connect with him, because he's fun. So this is Buddy. He was rescued in 2009 as a 2-year-old. He was an extreme neglect case that came in. He was really, really poorly. He had to have a blood transfusion and he had to have intravenous fluids. He couldn't stand up. We had to turn him every 2 hours to keep the blood circulating in his body. So he was really, really poorly when he came in as a 2-year-old. After his period of rest, recuperation and rehabilitation, he came through it without actually, other than a few scars, any physical problems. So then we retrained him to become a riding pony. So he then went out into a lone home, and then their circumstances changed, so he came back to us and became part of the discovery team, where he works with children and vulnerable young people. He's a full ridden pony, so he does all of our activities. He is a cheeky chap. He is he's a really fun pony to be around. He's a well-liked member of the herd. He's quite independent and he's very strong-willed. I think Buddy really enjoys the attention he gets from the young people, more so than some of the others. He really, really loves being fussed with. He loves being groomed and having the attention, but he also really enjoys being ridden. He's got lots of fun attitude in his work, so he's a real popular member of the team with the children also, because a lot of them can relate to his story of neglect when he first came in. He's pretty established now as a discovery horse, so we'll just continue building on the work that we're already doing, and keeping him in the routine. He's still quite young, he's only 11, so he's got a bright future, and hopefully will improve on his riding as he progresses.
This is Kyra. We've got 2 Kyras actually, so this Kyra gets referred to as Kyra Bay, don't you? She came to HorseWorld in 2013 as part of a rescue where the horses were quite emaciated. They'd been deprived of food, sadly. and she actually wasn't too bad because she'd been out on a loan home, so she hadn't been in that situation for that long. But she was with some other horses who were in quite bad condition, and they also had really bad rain scald. So when Kyra first came here, it was thought that she might be quite good for the discovery programme. But when we first started trying to work with her, she was really all over the place. She really struggled with the change, and she was really not settled at all. But it didn't actually take that long. After sort of a couple of months, she settled down, and we began to see this really, really sweet nature. She's one of those horses that kind of needs to have routine and know what her job is. And once she does, then she's really calm and relaxed, and she's just brilliant working with the young people on the Discovery programme. She's really sweet and gentle. She loves to be groomed. She loves to have a scratch. She'll stand for hours to have like her mane plaited. You're good at cuddles as well, aren't you? So if young people want to give her a cuddle, she quite likes that, and that's the bit of your neck you like having a scratch, isn't it? Yes, right there. Yes, yes. So she loves all the fuss, and she's when she's doing the activities that we do on the ground with young people, she's always just really calm. She always knows where they are and looks after them. We do also do a little bit of riding on the Discovery programme. So on the last week of a 6-week course, where possible, the young people get to have a little ride. And she's one of the ridden ones, and she's just brilliant for that. She will, if she feels that a rider is unbalanced, she simply stops and she communicates that to the person that's leading her. She's very communicative actually, and she knows how to let us know what's going on. And so we'll stop and then make sure the rider's okay, feeling comfortable and not unbalanced, and then when we're ready, Kyra sort of looks at us and we're like, okay, we're good to go, and she'll start off again, and off we go. So yeah, she's brilliant like that, aren't you, Kai? She's a firm favourite with all the young people. She definitely enjoys her job, and she definitely knows her job as well, because she is she can still be, if she's not in a routine and doing something that's normal for her, she can still be quite nervous and get a bit overexcited, but she's never like that when she's with the young people. And also I think a lot of our young people really relate to that. They relate to the fact that routine gives safety and structure, and so they can understand where Kyra's coming from when she needs that. Yeah.
So this is Gunnar. He's 10. He was rescued in when he was 3 with 2 other horses who were really underweight. He was the worst of the 3 and was scouring for a few weeks and couldn't put on any weight for quite a while, although you wouldn't think it now. It took him quite a while, so it took him a good few months to even sort of start putting on weight. And then eventually, because he was only 3, we slowly started his training. And once he started his training, he kind of showed real promise to be a Discovery pony. So he's been with Discovery for about 2 years now, and as you can see, he loves his scratches. He gets on really well with the kids. Some of the kids kind of find he kind of pushes you around a little bit, but some of them quite like that and sort of that cheeky edge to him. But yeah, he's just got a big character to kind of have around. So if he can eat, he's happy. He really likes being scratched and groomed, and just kind of being fussed and having attention from the students. Doesn't really like the exercise so much. He'd rather just be kind of asleep in his stable or eating some food. I think it's quite good because some of our students are quite sort of boisterous themselves, and I think he's almost like they kind of learn that they can't push him around, which I think for some of them quite good. Some of them, I think it's kind of once they learn that they can control him and kind of make him do what they want, they kind of like have that sense of achievement. Of going, well, I can control this horse who used to kind of push me around and maybe try and eat me every now and again. You can see, sometimes he can be quite cuddly. I think those days he does quite enjoy it, and then, yeah, sometimes you'll see him, he's just like asleep while the kids are all brushing him. It's just really nice to see that he obviously does really enjoy what he does. I think he gets quite bored sometimes if he's just in the field. And, yeah, we notice kind of his behaviour gets a bit worse if he's not really done anything for a while. So I think having kind of a job to do really kind of keeps him in line, gives him something to do and something to think about. which I think really helps him, keeps his mind sort of stimulated.
This is Jubilee. She was born here in 2012, so she's 8 years old now. Her mum came in as part of quite a large rescue. Her mum was called Bronwyn, and unfortunately when she was pregnant with Jubilee, Bronwyn actually had a really bad tooth, and that couldn't be operated on until after she'd had Jubilee. But Bronwyn's now really well and happy and out on a lone home. So Jubilee came to us on discovery a couple of years ago now. She had been working with the training team here at HorseWorld, and they've done a brilliant job getting her started and getting things going for her. But what they were finding is that she found the world quite a scary place. She is quite a deep thinker, our Jubilee, and what they were finding is when they were trying to do things with her, she would simply shut down and not move. So when she came to Discovery, my colleague Lindsay spent quite a lot of time working with her just to get her confidence up a little bit, and obviously she started working with the young people as well because she's so gentle and kind, and she loves to stand and be groomed and fussed, and really enjoys that side of things. And gradually over the time we've worked with her, she's come out of her shell quite a lot more, and she's able to now let us know when things are bothering her, and she enjoys the work that she does. She still likes to take things slowly sometimes, don't you, Jubes? So we don't move very fast very often, but sometimes we do. Sometimes when we're on our own in the field or with other horses in the field, we go quite fast. But when we're working, we tend to be nice and steady and slow. And a lot of the young people that she works with really, really relate to her, because that shutting down when things are overwhelming is something that a lot of them have experienced. So when they learn that about her, they understand that about her, and that really, there's a real bond between them. The other thing that she's really good at is, because she's quite considered and she's quite subtle in the signals that she gives, she's really good for learning about body language and trying to understand through body language what a horse is feeling, because with her the signs are really quite subtle, and so that encourages young people to focus and concentrate and just be kind of in a bubble with her really, and understand what's going on for her. So she's brilliant like that, aren't you, Jubes? And you love your work. She gets ridden as well, which she really enjoys. She loves being ridden, actually. I think it's really grounding and really brings you into the moment when you're working with a horse that takes things really steady like that, because it slows you down as well. So again, a lot of the young people that come to us, school can be quite a frenetic place at times and quite busy, and just spending time with a horse slows you down and brings you into the moment, and particularly with a horse like Jubilee, who she just has that aura about her that kind of makes you want to just chill out.
This is Demi. She's 16. She was rescued back in 2005 when she was just 1. And she'd actually had a head collar on since she was a little foal, which her skull had then formed around the head collar, so she had to have a number of operations to get it off. So because of that, she can be a little bit funny now when we put head collars or bridles on, and you'll quite often see her pulling back against it when she's tied up. She's not in any pain, that's just kind of what she's got used to doing. She's a very sweet girl, she's a little bit cheeky. She did go out on a lone home for a while, but had to return due to their changing circumstances. And then came back to be a discovery pony. So she's been a discovery pony now for about 7 years, and I think she really enjoys it. She tells us she doesn't sometimes, she makes quite grumpy faces, but I think deep down she really does enjoy it. Loves being with the children and kind of having lots of fuss and attention, and just, yeah, generally just having people around, I think. I would say she really enjoys sort of going out around the farm. Sometimes we do some long reining or just in hand work, mainly because sometimes she can sneak a little snack on the way. So yeah, so it's kind of anything where she can be a little bit cheeky, sort of get her personality out a bit. She's really good at like communicating what she does and doesn't want to do. You can't make Demi do anything she doesn't want to do.
which I think is quite good for our students because they have to kind of learn to communicate with her and to learn to feel kind of how she's feeling and recognise when maybe she might not want to do something, so we might have to kind of change tactics a little bit. But yeah, just in general, I think she's just a good one to kind of learn to read their personalities. And as you can see, she's obviously trying to tell me she's a bit hungry, but she's not. She doesn't enjoy riding weak. She kind of just lies on the ground if you put her saddle on and try and get someone on her. So yeah, anything that involves kind of standing still rather than the kind of exercising.
So this is Dakota, and Dakota was part of a big rescue that we got involved with several other charities, and they all came in completely feral, and we're talking run through 5-bar gait feral, very scared of people, haven't had any handling. So she's turning 7 this year, and when she came into us, no one could get anywhere near her. And she did suffer from a condition called sweet itch, which she still has now. So we had to kind of give her treatment for that. So we had to handle her, it wasn't an option. So I spent many hours with her, getting her used to me, gaining her trust. And once she was able to have a head collar on, see the farrier, have her teeth done, normal day-to-day things to be able to look after her, I started working on clicker training with her. And she seemed to really progress really quickly. She's such an intelligent mare, and she really does enjoy it. We haven't done it for several months now because of COVID. So today we are just doing a few little obstacles just to get her back into the swing of things. As you can see, she's put on a few pounds. She's not really been working on her summer body as much as everyone else, but so again, it's a great way. She's a small pony. I'm too heavy to ride her. So it's a great form of exercise for those companions that can't be ridden. And she still has her wild tendencies, let's say. She's very sharp. She's still quite untrusting of new people. So I do have to be extremely careful with her. And you'll see from some of the footage that she's obviously hasn't done it for a while, so she's very eager to get going. So yeah, that's a little bit about her. She's one of our adoption animals, and she's looking for new adopters. So please have a little look at her story on our website and adopt her. She's such a rewarding horse. She's a horse that probably wouldn't be here if she ended up anywhere else. And she's got so much love to give. And she is probably one of the most intelligent mares I've worked with. And she's got a massive prospect here at HorseWorld. She does some of our open days, so you may come along and see her in the future. And hopefully she'll be brave enough to meet a few of you as well.
This is Benjamin Bathmat. He's one of our donkeys that are on the sponsorship. He came into us in 2005, which now makes him 15. He came in when he'd just been weaned. He actually came in with Bluebell, which we'll meet in a minute. They were rescued from a little bit of an uncertain future. The lady had bought them and wasn't quite sure what to do with them and how to handle donkeys. She'd been used to horses. So they came to us because at the time we had the visitor centre and they were down there. Ben is quite a cheeky character. He does quite like to hold things in his mouth, and he was helping our photographer set up the tripod just now. He was joining in quite well. He thought he knew better than she did. He's a very sweet donkey, but unfortunately he does lose a little bit of condition sometimes. So you might notice that the two boys are in a different compound to the girls. That's why. It means that he can have a little bit more grass, and maybe he can have a little bit more food if he needs it. Barney, no. Him and Barnaby here, they have gone out and done a few, the Bath and West and the Froome Show and things like this over the years. It was meant to be Ben and Bluebell, but Bluebell decided she'd rather stay and eat the hay and stay with Patty. So it was decided to take the two boys. Don't act with children and animals. This is Barnaby. Barnaby does not like to stay out of the shop. He just wants to be included. This is Bluebell. She's a very sweet-natured donkey, but some people think donkeys are stubborn and stupid. They're definitely not stupid, but occasionally they can be stubborn. Now Bluebell is a very sweet soul, but she's the one that could possibly yank me back for some more grass in a minute. She is a little bit more, she's bigger. She doesn't always believe in getting out of the way. You should get out of her way rather than she get out of your way, as she proved with the tripod just now. But to see her with disabled children, she's fantastic. She just stands there with them. If you notice, Bluebell, as I said earlier, with the long ears, Bluebell has actually got longer ears than any of the other donkeys. She's not any different breed. They're all a little bit of a mixture of a breed, but she's just got very, very long ears. I tend to say she's got ears like a Harley Davidson. Bless her. I'm just going to have to leave her there a minute, it'll be easier. I'll just take the rope off a minute, sorry Meg. She is on the sponsorship with Benjamin, but originally when we went to Bath and West and places like that, it was meant to be Ben and Bluebell that went. But a couple of years ago, Patty had a bad leg, and Bluebell and Patty became very, very friendly. And Bluebell decided she didn't want to go out on things. She'd rather stay in the barn and eat her hay. So that's when we changed it to Ben and Barnaby. As I say, she's a very sweet donkey, but she is a little bit more, I dread to say stubborn, but out of all of them, she is the one that can be occasionally. As she's pulling her own weeds, she'd rather have them than what I just pulled her up. So that's our darling Bluebell.
This is Dime. She is a 6-year-old black Shire mare, and she came into us back in 2017 now. She was rescued as part of a big rescue group. There were 19 Shires altogether, and we had 3 of the horses that came from that rescue. Dime, Lolly was another one, and an older mare called Florin, who unfortunately only had a couple of years here, and she had to be put to sleep, but that was due to medical problems. Dime, when she came in, was only 3, so she was only a baby. So first of all, what we had to do was get them to be fit and healthy and well again, and then we had her assessed to see whether or not she was going to be fit enough to be able to work, or do ridden work, or obviously if like a Shire to maybe pull a plough or cart. And she got all clear from the vet and the physio to say that she was okay to go and do some ridden work or do some work in general. So we started to kind of research people that might be able to help us in train her to be able to pull a harrow, or to be able to help get her to learn her to pull a cart, because we teach her to pull a cart because we don't really know the basics of doing that here. So we found a wonderful couple down in Devon, and myself and another colleague actually went with Dime, and we went, that was a year ago now, we went back down to Devon, and Dime went down for 3 weeks, we went down for 4 days. And she got taught to pull a cart, pull a harrow, and to become a working Shire, if you like. She then came back, and we continued with her training on a slightly slower level, because unfortunately she went lame for a few months. So we then had to bring her back into work from that. So today we long rein Dime. She didn't have her full harness on because she's had 4 months off. So this is the second time we've long reined her since we brought her back into work 2 weeks ago. So she just did some long reining today with her blinkers on, which is what goes on her face, and a roller on her body. And we just long reined her around the farm, as you can see in the footage, just to get her used to long reining again, and also starting to build up her fitness levels. Next time we long rein her, we will start to then put her harness on. We'll get her harrowing the school again, and then hopefully by the end of the summer we'll get her back into her cart.
This is Mowgli. Mowgli is our resident mule. He's half donkey, half horse. His dad was a Poitou donkey, which is quite a rare breed of donkey. And his mum was a native pony. He's been here since a yearling when he came in foal at foot. And he is 7 now. So we've had a bit of time off since meeting Monty, and he's been being a normal mule in the field with all his friends, and it's now time to bring him back into ridden work and start his career off. So today we're going to be doing some work in the round pen. This is only the second time he's been back in the round pen since doing his training with Monty in October, and he is quite an anxious mule. He can be quite anxious and quite opinionated, so we've got to try and keep that brain working. So today we're going to see what he gives us, see how much energy he gives us, probably try and put some equipment on him, some tack. He's not wore a saddle since October, and obviously that was the first time he's really felt anything up there, so today will be a good indication to, one, see if he remembers, and two, to see if he has anything to say about it. Watch his space. Hopefully in the next couple of months we'll be on board going for some leisurely strolls.
Naz is 26 years old now. She's been here for about 15-16 years. She originally came from Greece. She'd been rescued by a society over there, but they didn't really deal with equines, they dealt with smaller animals. And the RSPCA over here got involved, in which we got involved, and they came to us. They came over, their manes and tails were very matted, and over time we managed to get them all up together. Naz, bless her, has got a few other issues. She's got sweet itch, which means she's allergic to the flies, so she has to wear a special rug. And she's got a few teeth problems. She has to have her teeth cleaned, and she has had a couple of teeth out. She's a very special little pony to me, because I've worked very closely with her for a number of years, and even now that I'm back volunteering, I still go out and see her every time I'm in. And because she had overgrown hooves when she came in, she does find it hard to walk too much on concrete, but she does quite like to be groomed, and sometimes the children will dress her up, which she quite enjoys as well. Worked with her closely when we were down at the visitor centre, and I just feel now I owe her what she gave me over all the years. Last but not least, Patty, the painting donkey. She is on the sponsorship. Bless her, she came to us from Romania. Didn't have a very nice start in life. When she came over, she certainly didn't look like this. The first few weeks she was over here, she looked like any poor donkey. Then her personality started to come out. And she's got a very, very strong personality. Patty is very good at painting. She thinks things out before she does it, which is what donkeys do. They aren't really stubborn. They certainly aren't stupid. They tend to think things out before they do it. She's a very sweet donkey, really.
So there you are, you've seen some of the animals that you're able to adopt. I hope you've chosen which one's going to be your adopted friend. We've got Patty in here to show you with her Christmas gear on as well. She's one of the adoptable animals. Patty came here all the way from Romania. Now if you do want to adopt an animal for a Christmas present, if you're watching this before the 11th of December, then there's still time to order it in time for Christmas. If you're watching it after the 11th of December, don't worry, you can still adopt a horse, it just won't be with you until the new year. But that's alright, isn't it, Patty? Now come on, you're very impatient. So Patty has got all her Christmas gear on to show you, and we thought we'd show you a few more as well. So here's the rest of the HorseWorld herd, all dressed up, ready for Christmas. Merry Christmas.